cinematic qualities in a storyboard would make sense if the show is specifically asking for that. Now, most primetime comedy does not want anything approaching cinematic. In fact, they're adamantly against it, because with primetime comedy, what is supposed to take precedent is not the visual, but the jokes. And so the writer is king and queen in primetime comedy, and they feel that anything that distracts from the jokes, they don't want. But on an action show, you will want moments of a cinematic quality because action shows are much more about the spectacle. And there isn't, and sometimes you will use a cinematic shot to demonstrate what the character is thinking or feeling in an action show. So sometimes having that far long away shot with the character small in the distance in silhouette makes us know that the character is sad, because in an action show there really isn't a lot of emoting going on in the characters like there is on other types of shows. So again, if somebody is looking to fill a spot on an action show, and if you're lucky enough that the show has already aired and you're doing another season and you can look and see that they do cinematic shots, then by all means you want to have some cinematic shots in your portfolio when you submit. But if you do the same thing to a primetime comedy, they're going to think that you're just going to come in doing cinematic shots all the time. That's not what they want, and they just don't have the time to train you to do it differently. So it always makes sense to apply specifically to the job. The clearest thing with primetime boards has to be the emotion of the characters, what emotion they're feeling, their acting. We will spend lots of time going back and forth over whether the character needs their eyebrow slightly down or slightly raised, slightly tilted, and everyone has an opinion on how that goes. When you watch an action show, if you watch Harley Quinn, I think Harley Quinn's a great example. First of all, it's a wonderful show. They're trying very much to do a lot more acting with the character as well as having action. But if you watch Harley Quinn, every single shot is two poses. You can watch it, and Harley will lean forward, and then she'll lean back and lean forward, and then it will cut. Or Harley will take something and hold it up, and it will cut. Or a character will talk the entire time like this, and like this, and it will cut. Always two poses per shot. Where's the character, and where's the character going? When we do primetime sitcom, we may have 40 poses in a shot to get every bit of the characters acting and looking away and emoting for every bit of emphasis that we hear in the dialogue. And so because we're doing so many more poses in primetime comedy, the compositions have to be clear and simple, straightforward proscenium staging. You know, there's a history to this. When The Simpsons was the first primetime animated sitcom in a long time. It was the first big successful one since the Flintstones, but there were other shows that had started before The Simpsons, and The Simpsons really caught fire. And The Simpsons was done as a one-camera sitcom. And when Family Guy came along, Seth MacFarlane changed, and he did Family Guy as a 3-camera sitcom. And one of my classes on perspective for animation talks about the differences between the two. Once you switch to that 3-camera sitcom, it really presents that proscenium staging. And what I mean by proscenium is that it looks like a stage play, and that you're the audience, and everything happens within the 3 walls that you can see on the stage. And that's specifically designed because that's comfortable, because that's how we see all live action sitcoms play out, as a 3-camera. Generally, dramas are 1 camera and sitcoms are 3 camera. And so animation has evolved to mimic that. And so in doing so, we want those flat, clean staging. So it mimics a 3-camera setup, and also so that the emotion and acting of the character becomes paramount in our view. Try and use my room as an example. You can see my messy studio at the moment on the larger camera. But for instance, if you're storyboarding and you have a, let's say I have my Mulan poster in the background, and if I turn towards the Mulan poster, my storyboard, I'm going to be drawing my face, and right next to my face is Mulan's face and Khan's face. That can be distracting in a storyboard when everything is drawn and in black and white lines. You have something that is a lot of detail right next to the eyes. a good storyboard will construct and compose the background so that when a character is talking to another character, there's nothing in front of their face. There's nothing in the background that is conflicting with the face, and especially nothing in front of the eyes. If you have two characters talking to each other and there is nothing in the background that is distracting you between their eye line, it makes that eye line much stronger and makes your boards cleaner and clearer. And so there's lots of details like that. Where do you put the line for the back wall? How do you rearrange the background to not interfere with the character? It's a lot of visual arts standard composition formulas on making clean and clear drawings. Mostly what that means is that there will be one point of view in the drawing, the character's gesture, the character's expression, and there will be nothing else in that drawing that would draw your eye away from the primary purpose of that drawing. There's a way to tell a joke, and specifically, it's my opinion that jokes come from setting up an expectation and then breaking that expectation as fast as possible. And it's the old Looney Tunes thing where the character gets ready to run one way and suddenly takes off the other way. I mean, Tex Avery was the master at building one expectation and then breaking that expectation. And you will see that in written form a lot of the times in primetime sitcom jokes. So for instance, I had a section where, because of the show I work on, Paradise PD, features police officers, the cops were going to interrogate a suspect. And you got the sense that it was going to be good cop, bad cop. And the first cop comes up and he slaps a piece of pizza out of the character's hands and he grabs him and he says, you're going to tell me what I need to know. The good cop comes over. He goes, oh, you know what? Calm down. Let me take care of this, and puts him aside. And then screams at him even louder. Tell me what I need to know. So the expectation was that it was bad cop was going to be replaced by good cop, but it was broken by the fact that it was bad cop replaced by worse cop. So what I did is after he slapped the pizza, the first bad cop slaps the pizza. The good cop says, oh, no, let me handle this, pushes that cop aside. He picks up the pizza, he dusts it off, he hands it back to the character, then he slaps the pizza out of his hand and grabs the character and shakes him. And so we've added a visual to enhance the verbal. The verbal was set in the writing that you thought he was going to be good cop and he was worse cop. And so then I came up with a visual that enhanced that did the exact same thing. And as a storyboard artist, you're allowed to do that because you're not changing the writing. You're adding something visual. And of course, the writers see that their joke gets enhanced and they loved it and it stays in. So it is about not stepping on the feet of the writers, but rather enhancing their verbal with the visual. Yes, well, I've done both myself. So you can most definitely do it. It will require double the learning to be able to get good at character design and good at storyboarding. But if you've learned in school and done your studying and draw all the time, there's no reason you can't put together both portfolios. And it's the same when I transitioned from features to television. I had created both a storyboarding and a character design portfolio and then sent them to each studio depending on which job was listed. So when I heard about character designer needed on the Boondocks, I sent them my character design portfolio. And when I heard about a storyboard artist needed at Film Roman, I sent them the storyboard portfolio. And I got both, like I said, I got both jobs and did one during the day and one freelance at night because, sometimes that's what you have to do to keep paying the mortgage. It's very possible, but you just don't want to cross the streams. You don't want to send storyboard to a character design job listing because they're simply not going to look at it. What they want is someone who already knows the job and knows how to jump right in.